Shadows of the Past. The second audio series, The Phoenix's Gambit. The numbers on the digital clock glowed an accusatory red. 3:17 a.m. David Clark hadn't slept. The words Mark Williams had uttered echoed in the quiet confines of the detective's office, chilling him more than the pre-dawn air. It's a plan, a major operation, near Oak Creek. In 2 days. Sarah Miller wasn't missing. She was orchestrating. David slammed his fist on the desk. She staged it, he muttered, the realization a bitter taste in his mouth. All of it. The disappearance, the note, the ambush. It was all part of getting me, or someone, to find her. Mark, ever the calm, analytical mind, sat opposite him, hunched over his laptop. The screen glowed with the jumbled mess of Sarah's notebook code, now partially deciphered. She wanted us to find this, he said, pointing to a highlighted section. This isn't just a list of dates. It's a sequence. Each location tied to a specific phase of what she's calling the Phoenix's Gambit. The Phoenix, David repeated, his mind racing. The tattoo, the club, it's all connected. What's the Gambit? It appears to be a systematic unraveling of the Syndicate's operations, Mark explained, scrolling furiously. Each date is an intended disruption. Each location a target for exposure. The one near Oak Creek. It points to the new geothermal energy plant groundbreaking ceremony. David's eyes widened. Sterling's pet project. The one he's been pushing through council. It's in 2 days. A major public event. Perfect for an exposé. Too perfect, Mark countered, looking up, concern etched on his face. This isn't just about exposing them, David. This is about drawing them out. She's laying a trap. For them. And for herself. David knew what he had to do. He reached for his phone. I need to get word to command. We have to secure that site, bring Sterling in, get ahead of this. They won't believe you, Mark said flatly. You have a declassified file from a defunct agency, a coded notebook you barely understand, and a hunch that a perfect housewife is actually a rogue operative targeting a high-ranking official. They'll tell you to take a vacation. He knew Mark was right. His career had been built on facts and procedures, but this was a tangled mess of shadows and hidden agendas. He was on his own. Then we do this ourselves. As if on cue, David's phone buzzed. An anonymous text message. Back off, detective. Some fires are best left to burn. David looked at Mark, a grim smile on his face. They're watching. They know we're close. The next 24 hours were a blur of caffeine and frantic research. David and Mark delved into every shred of information from Sarah's flash drive and the partially decoded notebook. They uncovered financial ledgers pointing to illicit dealings, shell corporations, and a pattern of influence peddling that connected Sterling directly to the Syndicate's illicit activities. Sarah's notes suggested she had been collecting this information for years, meticulously building her case. They identified the exact location of the groundbreaking ceremony, a secluded site just outside Oak Creek, where Sterling planned to announce a massive development project, supposedly fueled by geothermal energy. Sarah's notes hinted at something far more sinister than just clean energy. As they worked, the threats escalated. David's car tires were slashed in the police parking lot. Mark's home internet was repeatedly hacked, attempts to disrupt his work. It was a clear message. The Syndicate knew they were closing in. The shadowy figure from the warehouse, David realized, was just one node in a vast, unseen network. Late that night, while Mark struggled with a particularly stubborn piece of Sarah's code, David found a small, unmarked audio recorder tucked into the lining of the last file in Sarah's safe house stash. He pressed play. A woman's voice filled the quiet room, Sarah's voice. It was calm, measured, but laced with a profound sadness. If you're hearing this, Sarah began, her voice barely a whisper, then I've either failed or I've set things in motion in a way that can't be stopped. My name isn't Sarah Miller. It's Maria Petrova. And I was once part of something I regret every single day. David sat bolt upright, his breath catching. Maria Petrova. They found me, Sarah continued, a tremor in her voice. After years of hiding, they found me. They threatened my children, Lily and Ben, my real children. They said if I didn't return, if I didn't perform one last service, they would make sure my family disappeared. Not just Oak Creek. My entire past. My entire future. The words hit David like a physical blow. Her double life wasn't a choice. It was blackmail. She wasn't just a rogue agent. She was a desperate mother caught in an impossible situation. I decided, Sarah's voice grew stronger, that if I was going to be forced back, I would destroy them from the inside. This Phoenix's Gambit. It's my last stand. It's a series of controlled demolitions of their operations, designed to expose their network piece by piece. The final phase, the one near Oak Creek, is meant to draw out their highest-ranking operative in the region, the one who has been overseeing my re-engagement. The recording continued, detailing her meticulous planning, her calculated risks. She spoke of the hidden clues she left, hoping someone observant enough would follow. She spoke of the ultimate sacrifice she was willing to make for her children's safety. The cradle, Sarah's voice concluded, is not a place. It's a contingency, a final piece of leverage. It's the secure location of a data chip, a chip that holds every detail, every name, every operation they've ever run. If I fail, if I'm caught, if I die, the data will be released. It's my insurance. Don't let them find it, David. For Lily and Ben's sake. The recording clicked off. David stared at the small device in his hand, his mind reeling. He looked at Mark, whose face was pale. She called me by name, David whispered, his voice hoarse. How did she know? Mark swallowed hard. She knew we were coming. She left it for you. She's counting on you. The morning of the groundbreaking ceremony dawned cold and gray. David arrived early, blending into the crowd of media, local officials, and curious residents. The air was thick with anticipation. Thomas Sterling stood on a makeshift stage, beaming, shaking hands, surrounded by a tight ring of security. David saw a few faces he recognized from the Phoenix Club, cold eyes scanning the crowd. He scanned the perimeter. No sign of Sarah. Not yet. He felt a sudden shift in the crowd, a subtle ripple of tension. His eyes darted to a small, unassuming van parked beyond the main security perimeter. The side door slid open. Sarah Miller, dressed in dark, nondescript clothing, emerged. She had a laptop in her hand, connected to a sophisticated array of antennae mounted on the van's roof. She was not there to be rescued. She was there to execute. As Sterling began his grand speech, Sarah began setting up. She was moving with purpose, focused, ignoring the noise of the crowd. David saw her connect a final cable. He knew what she was doing. She was about to broadcast everything. He moved quickly, pushing through the crowd, his eyes fixed on Sarah. He had to stop her, not from exposing the Syndicate, but from exposing herself to certain death. Just as he reached the edge of the van, a flash of movement caught his eye. The shadowy figure from the warehouse. The Syndicate's assassin. He was moving through the crowd, fast, directly towards Sarah. He had a silenced pistol in his hand. Sarah! David yelled, his voice cutting through the rising murmur of the crowd. She looked up, her eyes wide, recognizing him. Her finger hovered over the enter key on her laptop. She hesitated, looking from David to the approaching assassin, then back to the screen. Sterling, distracted by the commotion, stumbled in his speech. And with this new energy, a loud, piercing alarm suddenly blared from Sarah's van, cutting Sterling off mid-sentence. Red lights flashed. The crowd murmured in confusion, then panic. It wasn't the data dump David expected. It was a diversion. The assassin cursed, momentarily disoriented by the blare. Sarah, instead of pressing the final key, had activated a massive EMP burst, disabling security cameras, communications, and most of the Syndicate's remote surveillance. Now, David! Sarah screamed, pointing to a small, unmarked access panel on the side of the van. The chip! Get it! David didn't hesitate. He tore open the panel, his fingers fumbling for the hidden device. The assassin recovered, raising his gun. David pulled the small data chip free,